A Softek IT Consult.
Classless interdomain routing, or sometimes in short, always you see this in short, the right what? CIDR, okay? That is it, classless interdomain what? Routing, that is CIDR. You can see that they write like what? CIDR what? 24, okay? CIDR what? 25, 26, 27, 28. You know what? They are controlling the IP addresses from you. Okay, so before I start, I'd like us to go back to what? To our class A to class C what? IP addresses. And we have what we call the what? The broadcast address from what? This particular what? IP what? Addresses. Okay. So I'm taking them once again. Our class A IP address, let me put them here. Class A, class B, class C, okay, with this, okay. All right. So with the what? Our class A IP address, we said that we have what? Only one network portion, then 3 hosts. All right. But our class B, we said we have what? 2 network what portion, and then what? 2 hosts. But our class C, we said we have what? 3 network what portion and what? And then 1 host. Okay. So with this, we have something we call the what? The broadcast what? Address, or the broadcast what? ID. Okay. So with this, we can tell from this that what? The broadcast what? ID for what? For this class A network is a what? Is a network. Okay. The broadcast, okay, which becomes what? 255. Okay. So which means the rest becomes what? 0 and then what? And then 0. Okay. It becomes what? 0 and then what? And then 0. So when class A wants to what? Broadcast what? A message to what? To everybody or to anything. This is the what? The broadcast what? Address what? It uses. Okay. When class B wants to what? Broadcast, or the broadcast ID or the subnet mask what? For class B is this. Okay. The network 255 dot what? 255 dot what? Dot 0 dot 0. Okay. So the network part. The network part is the what? Is for the what? For the broadcast. Okay. But in what? In subnet. In subnet max, meaning we are what? We are masking it. We are masking it. Okay. We are putting what? A shader. Okay. So that yantra it's like we won't what? We won't waste it. So let's see what happens. So from this becomes what? 255 dot what? 255 dot what? 255 dot what? Dot 0. Okay. So from here we can what? Easily tell that class A what? Network has what? Only this what? 3 bits as what? As the host. Okay. Which can take what? To the power what? 24. That is giving us the what? The 16 million. Okay. Meaning this side is what? Is blocked. It is seized for the what? For the network. Okay. Then from there we can tell that what? Okay. Hey, where are you coming from? Wait a minute. Okay, thank you. Then from the class B, we can tell that what? This are the what? The only ones who pin for the what? For the host. Okay. For the host portion, this is for the network. We don't touch this. Or this we can what? Assign people to what? To use this part. Then for the what? For the class C, we can tell that this is what? They are all what? Blocked, or they are all seized. Okay. So this is the what? The last part. That is the network part. That is a 0. So we can give what? From what? 1 to what? 254 from this. Okay. For this, we can take even what? More than what? More than that. Okay. From here to there. Here we can take what? Even what? More than, again, triple. Okay. So this is what we call the what? The subnet max of what? Of each of the classes. Okay. So you should know that what? The network portion is what we use to what? To max. Okay. What we use to what? Sorry. What we use to max. Okay. As you can see, the network right here. Network right here, the same here as what? 255, and then what? The network what? Right here, that is what? 255, 255. Okay, the network what? Right from here, we have what? 255, 255, and then what? 255. Okay, so with what? This is what the subnet max for what? for our what? Our IP what? Addresses. Okay. So let's take what? An example and let's see how it works. Okay. Example, let's see how it works. Okay. Let me look into this file. We were sent to what? To use as a what? As a guide. Okay, and then we follow that. So we've done the what? Binary to what? Decimal conversion. We did that. So we done with that. We had about what? About 10 taxes to do to complete the class. So we did the what? The binary to decimal what? Conversion. And then decimal to what? To binary. Then we what? Identify what? Class of what? IP. Okay, we've done that. And then the network portion of the what? Addresses, we've done that. The host portion too, we've done that. The IP address and what? Subnet max shown. Okay, write out the what? Network what? Addresses. Okay, so I think in the file that's what we were sent, we will use that IP address in there. So we are on tax 8. Tax 8. Okay. So we take that and then what? We will take that to what? Answer some what? Some questions. Let me write the questions right here. So as we go, I explain. Okay. Let me write them right here. So the first one was what? Number of what? Subnet needed. So when we are done with this, meaning we are almost through. Number of what? Needed subnet. And then number of what? Needed host. And then we have what? Network what? Address. Then default what? Subnet max. And then we have what? A custom what? Subnet max. And then total number of what? Of subnet. And then we have what? A total number of what? Of host addresses. And then we have a number of what? Usable addresses. And then we have number of both borrowed. Okay. And then, so you can find this in your question. No, you can find all of this in a question on what? IP addresses. Okay. And then number of what? Needed usable host network what? Address. We have what? Number of needed usable what? Host network address.
Sir, please when can we get the video? My network has been messed up the whole time.
After the class, I'll send it.
Hello.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
After the class, I'll send
sir.
it out. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then we have the what? The address class. Wow. The questions are in address class. And then we have the what? Total number of what? Of subnet. We have a lot of them. But let's take them one by one from where I've written. Okay. So as we go down, I add the rest to it. Okay. So let me write the IP address they are going to be using right here. Okay. So we have what? 192.149.24, and then we have what? 191. Okay. So I already told you guys that's what. These are what? Are default what? Subnet max. Okay. Default subnet max. Default subnet max. For every what? Class A IP address, this is what? Its default what? Subnet mask. For every what? Class B IP address, this is what? Its default what? Subnet mask. For every what? Class C IP address, this is what? It's what? Default subnet mask. Who can tell us the class for what? This particular what? IP address?
C.
A class C. Why is it a class C?
Limit from 1932.
So that's
network
correct.
IP.
That is it. So that is the network. Okay, is a what? Class C what? IP what? Address, because it ranges. The first what? Octet. Okay, ranges from what? 1912 to what? 22 what? 3. So 192 can be found. So this is what? Correct for what? Class C network. So we've been able to what? Identify what? This particular what? Network. Okay. So let's have a look. So what do you think the what? The subnet max for this IP address would be?
255.255.255.0.
So that is what correct. That is the default what? Subnet max for what? For this what? IP address. Okay. Default what? Subnet max for what? For this particular what? IP address. Dot what? Dot 0. Okay. But let me ask for we need the what? The CIDR for what? For this particular. Okay, number of what? Needed subnet. We need the what? Let me ask. Please, I'm coming. Permit me a minute. I'm asking our lecturer for the question for clarity. Okay, the correct. It seems he isn't online, but you are fine for what? Another question so that we can make it, because they should have tell us that what maybe this is a what? Maybe a CIDR what? Maybe 25 what? Network. Okay. So with that, we can be able to what? To solve these questions. But they didn't add anything or specify anything. So I'm going to what? Look for what? A question, and then I'll bring, which contains almost what? Everything also what? Right from here. Okay. And then we take it from there. Okay. I'm not seeing any of that in the question. Okay. Either it is CIDR 1 or CIDR 2, CIDR 3. I'm not seeing that in the question. So let me get us what? A question which has that. Let me see. Okay. So I've gotten one. Okay, so let's take it. I've gotten one. Okay. So let me just write it right here. That is what? 209 44 and then 33, and then we have 0 here, and then what? And then 24. Aha. Okay. And then what? 24. Right what? From here. Okay. So the reason why I was telling you about the what? About the classless interdomain what? Routing is this. We can see that. What class is this IP address? Who can tell us this class?
Class D.
Oh, this IP address. Come again.
C class.
It's a class C IP address. Okay. So you see, we can tell it's a class C IP address. But due to what? This CIDR 24. Okay. It is what? This is the CIDR. That is what? CIDR. That is classless interdomain what? Routing what? 24. Okay. It can decide to what? Make it what? A class. Anything. It is what? It is a classless. Okay. But even though it is correct. Okay. So when they make this what? Classless CIDR right here, it means that 24 bits, okay, of the what? Of the network portion, okay, like this. Network, and then what? And then host, okay. So let's say we have what? We have an IP address, okay. We don't know this IP address. Let me say first octet, second octet, third octet, fourth octet, okay. And then they tell us that this is what? CIDR what? 24, which means that our first what? 24 bit is what? Our network. Okay. So if they tell us that this is what? CIDR 16, which means that our what? Our first what? That is our first 16 bits is what? Our what? Our network. Okay. So you see, they can write this what? Same what? An IP address, and then tell you that it is what? CIDR 16. You see, when it's CIDR 16, it now doesn't belong to what? Class C anymore. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. it becomes like what? A class B address. So it becomes what? Classless. Are we on the same platform?
Yes.
Okay, let me explain for the last time. The same what? IP address. Okay, so 209 44.
Sir, please can you go to the previous page?
The previous
for a
one.
second?
Okay. So this one. So can
Yes,
we move
thank
on?
you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
yes.
And then this is what? 33. This is 0. CIDR what? 24. Okay. So I want to write the same network again with this 209 44. Could this be what? 21 instead of 20? Yes. It can be anything. So that's why I'm writing network again. Okay. IP address again. See what I'm writing. Okay. 33. Here can be what? 0. Here can be what? Like even 12. Here can be 12. Okay. So they can write it again in this form. 209. Okay. 44. Dot what? 33. Dot what? Dot 0. Here can be what? 21. Okay. Again, can be what? 209. So any of the what? The CIDR that they give to you, you should be able to what? To work with. Okay. So 44. 33. Let me say, maybe here can be what? 16. Okay. And I'm telling you that what? At the moment, what? You see this CIDR thing. Don't think it is what? A class C IP address anymore. Take that off your head. If you don't see this thing, okay. Oh, that one, you can say it is what? Class C IP address. When this thing shows, it is telling us it is what? It is classless. It is classless. So it is having what? No class. Because this, you can't tell me that CIDR 12 is what? Is a class what? C IP address. No. See what happens. So here we have the what? First octet 1, second octet 2, third 3, 4, 4. So when the what? CIDR is what? 24. It means that our first what? 24 bits is on. Then we know this is what? 8. This is what? 8. This is what? 8. This is 8. And they say the first 24. This is what? 8 plus 8, 16 plus 8, 24. So which means here is what? Is on. Okay. So here is on. So meaning this part is for the what? Only for the host. Okay. So this becomes for the what? For the network. So look at this one too. Let's take it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then it says that what? The first what? 12 bits. Okay. They are turned on. So let's take that. So here is what? 8. Here is what? 8. Here is what? 8. And then here is what? 8. So let's take the first 12 bits from it. So this is 8. And then we'll borrow what? 4 from this one. So let's say the 4 is from here. Okay. So the remaining one, so here remains what? 6. Okay. Now here is 8. And here is what? 8. So meaning the remaining ones are what? Are 22. Okay. Are 22. Is it 22 or 20? Okay. Here was 8. And then we borrowed 4. Okay. Meaning, here is 4. Sorry. Here is 4. Here is 4. Here is 4. Okay. So 4 plus 8, 12. 12 plus 8, 20. 20. Okay. So you see, so you can't tell me that despite what? This is what? Is C. This is class C. So it is a class C IP address. It has changed, which means it is now what? Classless. It doesn't belong to what? That particular class again. Even though it is using what? The identifier that this is what? This is a class C. Okay. Let's take this. Let's take the third one. This is what? 8. This is 8. This is what? 8. This is what? 8. Which means what? 21 bits are turned on. So let's take 8 from here, 16. So we take only 5, okay, from here. And we take 5 from here, there's left with what? 3. So this is 3, this is 8. So the remaining ones are what? Are 11 for the host. The network have taken what? 21, okay. So this one can be told that this is even what? A class B what? Network, even though it is this. So it is classless. Let's take this. 8, let's take 8, let's take 8, let's take 8. Telling us that there's what? CIDR 16, which means 16 bits are turned on. So let's take the first 8, second 8. That is 16. Okay. Which is even what? A class B what? Network. Okay. So that is what I mean by what? Classless interdomain what? Router. Which means it doesn't mean that that particular IP address, it is still what? Class B. So they can pretend to write what? This IP address what? In the question. And then they can ask you, they can ask you that what kind of what IP address is this? Okay, when you mention what a class C, it is wrong. Because the CIDR is what is making it wrong, even though it is a class C network, but it is no more of the of the class C, because we are even we are controlling the IP address. Okay, to minimize. So you see here, we control the host. Okay, so here the host was just 8 bits. Okay, it was 11 bits. So with the power 11. Okay, reduction here to the host. We control the host. We control the host. Okay, that is what I mean by what? Classless. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it belongs to that same class again, because it has changed. Okay, so when it changes, the broadcast ID. Okay, the broadcast ID also it changes. Okay, so with this, meaning what? Broadcast ID becomes what? 255. 255. All right. So with this, broadcast ID becomes what? 255, 255, and then what? We calculate the third one, because we need what? 1. Okay, this is 16. So we need 5. We need 5. So we calculate. So we will see how to calculate that. Okay. So Cherry, you have a question?
Yes, so about the question before is, you said if they say for example the first one, should they ask you for the network,
Yes.
what kind of classes it belongs to?
So what kind of because it is now what? A classless.
So the answer should be classless.
So it is a what? It is a classless what? Address. Okay, of what? Of even maybe A type or what? Or B type. Okay, so it is a classless what? IP what? Address. It is no more of what? Maybe we saying straight class A or class B or class C. It is what? It is a classless what? Address. Okay.
All right, thank you.
So we also have, I never mentioned this. We also have what we call the private IP addresses. Okay. For that one, it is like a private, meaning like you alone or this company alone, like GCTU can have like a private IP address. Okay. That is an intranet. Okay. Within the institution. That is so nobody has that one. Okay. And then we have public IP addresses, like what INU will use from the from the ISPs. Okay, they can give it to anybody. That is a public IP address. But the private, it is it is for special purposes. Okay, like some organizations will take the private IP address. One of the private IP addresses is what we have as 192.168. Okay. Dot anything. Okay. Whenever you see these IP addresses, they are They are private IP, and then there are more. I think 127. Okay, it's also one. Okay, and I think there is one also. I think something like that. But you can find for it online. Okay, some types of IP address are private IP address. Like, but this is the most popular one. Okay, the 192.168 is the private IP address. Okay, and then we have the public one. Public one is the class A, class B, class C. Those ones which are not these ones. 127 is not part, but like maybe address 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 are public addresses. Okay, and we have what we call the dynamic IP addresses. Those are the ones that we use on our phones, which means that, let me say today, maybe on your on your ISP or anything, they can assign to you an IP address. Maybe tomorrow it will change. Okay, let's say like coming to GCTU. Today you connect to the Wi-Fi. Okay, so they'll give you an IP address. But tomorrow when you come, they won't give you that same IP, because at the moment you leave the network, they'll give it to somebody else. That becomes dynamic. They give it to somebody else. It is not yours forever. No. So at the moment you leave the network, somebody else also logs into what to use what the network. So it will be what assigned to that is what a dynamic what IP what address. I talked about the reserved IP address, which was used for what for the loopback, okay, like for pinging, okay, to test the network, testing the network, okay. So let's move on with what our question, okay, and then let's see how best what we can complete, how best we can complete. So let me move to the next screen, okay. So with that same what so please let's follow. If you don't understand anything, please ask. When you understand this one that we're about to do, meaning you can work out what any question he brings in the exams. So please pay attention. When you understand what we're about to do here, meaning you can work on what any question he brings in the exams about what IP address. Okay, so taking what my question from here, it is this 209 44 33 0 and then what 24. Okay, so in this question we are being asked, okay, like this, we should find for the required number of what subnets, required number of subnets, okay, number of subnets, and then find the number of what subnets. I'm coming. Subnet, okay, and then we have the subnets required also here, okay. I think one may be the subnet bit, okay. I think this, but you are correct it. Let's move on. I'll correct it, okay. Subnets what required, and then we have determine what number of bits borrowed, borrowed, as we saw in the old questions, bits borrowed, and then determine the number of hosts per subnet, host per subnet. And then we have calculate the new subnet max. Then we have apply the subnet max to the IP space, okay. Okay. So with this question, okay, so I will explain what is subnet is, okay. So subnetting or subnet is what necessarily we dividing a network into subdivisions, okay. So I can have a very large network from here, this network, okay. Maybe I want to maybe control the network, so I can divide it into 4, okay. Okay, so when I divide, this is network 1, network 2, network 3, network 4, okay. Out of this whole network, this is a subnet of the whole network. Another subnet of the whole network. Another one of the whole network. Another one of the so it is simply dividing a bigger network into a sub network, okay, out of the main big network. That is subnetting here. I'm saying we have a whole bigger network, okay, and then we are dividing it into sub networks. So we take portion of the network for something. So let's say we have an organization, okay, like here, organization like here. So in the pre-era or in the beginning, maybe let me say the IT department, software department, maybe IS department, they were all what using the same network at the same time. But maybe getting to what a period, they realize that no, they cannot divide the network into sub. So meaning the IT will take this part, maybe the IS will take this part, and then maybe the software unit will take this. So meaning they've divided the network into a sub, sub unit, of the original whole network. That is subnetting, okay. So meaning we are dividing it to even control the size of the network. So let's start with our workings, okay. Let me clean this. Let's start with our workings right here. So the question says, okay, we were given, somebody asking the question. Okay. Please, is it now up? My voice, is it now up? Christabel, please, can you now hear me? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So let's take this. This says it is an IP address of 209.44.33 and then .0. 209.44.33.0 of CIDR 24. So what do you think this network is trying to tell us? Who can help us with this? What is this network trying to tell us right from here? Anyone to help us?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm on the line.
This is telling us we should be working on the last subnet, last octet. Because we assume that the network ID, we have 3 network IDs. That is
network portion,
which is on.
Yes.
And we also assume that the host portion is off, so we need to be working more on the host portion.
That's correct. Okay. So this is telling us that's 24 bits are turned on for the network. So when we are to draw this our network, let's say this is our first octet. That is 8 bits. Second octet, 8 bit. Third octet, 8 bit, and fourth octet, 8 bits right from here. All right. It says it is 24 bits turned on. This is 8 bits. Okay. This is 8 bits. This is 8 bits right from here. This is also 8 bits. But it says 24 bits are turned on, which is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they become our network. Okay, they become our network they become our network portion. Okay, become yeah, I'm on the line.
So with this network having 3 network this thing, meaning that is why we have the 255.255.
Yes.
When you convert it,
it's very true. It's very true. Okay, so when at the moment it says that. So at the moment it says that we have we have CIDR 24, meaning all the network portion. Okay, the network part, they are all turned on. Okay, so meaning let's create it right here. This is the first part. So 1, 2, 3. Let's say this is the first octet, second octet, third octet, and then the fourth octet. That is let me say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Okay, the moment it says this is CIDR 24. Okay, meaning all the network portion, they are on, meaning everything becomes 1, 1, 1. So this will become 8 ones for 8 bits. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then 1, and then 1, and then 1. So meaning all of the network part, they are all 10 on, meaning they are all 2 in bits. If they are all 1, 1, 1, 1, bit becomes 255. If you convert 8 ones into bits, 255, 255, 255, 255. Okay, which gives us what? Our subnet max. Okay, and then this is what? Our subnet max. Okay, so that is the what? The subnet max. So the moment we are being told that there is what? CIDR 24, meaning what? All the network what part is what are going to be turned on, and then this is what happens. So we've been able to what? To tell the subnet max of what? Of this particular what network, and then that is what completely what correct from here. So let's take the question one after the other. It says we should what? We should find for the what? The number of what? I think it is the number of what? Number of bits, okay? Required number of what? Required number of what? Of subnet bits, okay? It is subnet what? Bits, okay? Let me draw it right here. Let me put this in there so that we all what? Understand it well, okay? So this is what? 209.44.33.0. Abi, I mean, so what? Yes. Okay. Okay, so then we have what? CIDR 24. CIDR what? 24 from here. With this CIDR 24, we are like the network part is all what? 10 on. Okay, so let me just put it what? Right, bigger right here. Okay, big right here, and then let's see it what? Okay, so this, and then this. Okay, so network is what? It's on. Okay, that is this. This is that. This is this. Hey, sorry, this is what? This is this. Okay, was 24. Okay, 8 bits. That is what? 8 bits. Okay, equal to 8 bits. Equal to what? 8 bits. Equal to what? 8 bits. Okay, and this is also what? Equal to what? 8 bits. Okay, for everybody to catch up. That is why I'm doing it this way. Okay, so meaning this is what? The network part is what? The 24. That is all n. That is for this. Okay, meaning in its broadcast, we have what? 255 right here. 255 right here. 255 right here. And then we have what? We have 0 right here. 0 right here. Okay. So I like us to write the bits, okay, for all of these. Okay. So let me write for the what? For the subnet max. Okay. Let me write them for the what? For all. Please, if somebody cannot work out the what? The binary for what? 209. Okay, I'll be grateful with that. Okay, let me try working it right here. Let me see. I want the binary for what? 209. Let's work it that way. 209. I think it's this. Okay. Then let's work for what? 44 as well. 44. So we'll be getting this. When you put the dot right here, the dot right here, 44 is this. Please, somebody should confirm for me whether there is last 0. Okay, so like this. So once we are doing, please confirm whether the values I have here, they are correct. Okay, so 33. I think here, the 0 should rather come with. Please confirm for me whether we are right, okay, right on track, or maybe we are out of track. Okay, confirm the values for us. Okay, let me put the 0 right here. And then the last one is what? Is 0. So that becomes what? Is 0. Okay. That is 0. So everything is what? Is 0 from there. Okay. So let me write it 0 in what? In binary. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this is what? This is 8. Okay. So I've taken the what? This is what? 209. Okay. Let me even write it what? Even down it. Okay. So that we know. Okay. This is what? 209. This is what? 44. 33. But please confirm the values for us. So the values confirm for us. Okay. Whether it is correct or it is wrong. Before we
the second is 88.
It is what? It is
88. When I put it in the calculator, I say 88.
So what is the binary for what? For the 44 as we are having?
For 44, 44 is in binary 1101100. So the last 0 is supposed to be in front.
It's supposed to be right here, right?
Yes.
So we need to take this one off, right?
Yes.
So then meaning this one too comes here. And check this one too for us. And let's see. For the 33.
Yes, it's the same thing.
So this is right like this.
Yes,
like this.
When you put the 0 in front, it doesn't change the value of the actual number.
Yes. Okay. Oh, sorry. So here was 0. So this is 4. So we have another last 4 right here. Okay. And then this was what? This is 4. Additional what? Last 0 right from here. Then this is what? This is 8. Okay. So these are for this. And now let's take the what? The binary for the what? For this, the subnet max. Okay. That becomes what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we move on to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what? 255. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then here becomes what? 0, 6, 7, 8. That is 8. Okay. So let me put what? 255 right down here. 255. 255. 255. And then dot 0. Okay. So this is the subnet what? Max. Okay. Okay. So with this, it is asking us that what we should find out for the required number of what? Of subnet bits. Required number of what? Of required number of what? Of subnets. Okay. The number of what subnets we are actually what having. Okay. So let's see from this particular what network. We have this, okay, and then we have what? Our network, okay. So from here, is what? Is for our network. From here, straight up to what? To this side, is what? Is our network portion. And then from here, straight up to what? To this side is what? Is our network portion. Okay. So in the question, okay, in the question, they gave us the required number of what? Of subnets. Okay. They said the required number of subnets in the question was what? Was 6. Was 6. Okay, meaning out of what? This what? Network, out of this particular what? IP address, we have what? 6 networks within. Okay. So we have what? 6 networks what? Within this particular what? IP address. So let's say we have this what? Network right here. You have what? 6 within. Okay. So we have like this. So this is 1. This is 2. This is what? 3. This is what? 4. This is what? 5. This is what? This is 6. So the question says what? The required number of what? Of subnets are what? They are 6. Oh, we'll close very soon. Okay. Let's finish with this question. Let's close with this. Let's close. Okay. So we have what? 6 subnets in this particular what? Question. So this is not part of the question. Okay. It is what? 6 subnets in the what? In the question. All right. So it is asking us to what? To find for the what? the required what? Subnet. Okay. Let's find for the required what? Subnet. The formula for subnet is what? Is this? Okay. You take this. It is what? 2 to the power what? N equal to what? Equal to the subnet. Okay. And then always to 2 to the power x, 2 to the power n must be what? Greater than the what? The subnet. Otherwise, we won't get what? Our broadcast and what? And our, what's the name? Our broadcast and what? Our network what? Address from that particular what? Subnetwork. Okay. So out of what? This particular what? Network. It says we have what? 6 sub what? Networks. So meaning X is the what? Is a subnet. Because it says we have what? 6 subnets. And I said the formula is what? 2 to the power what? N. Okay, I'm repeating that again. Okay. Let me take it again from the back. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me take this. Oh, when I clean this, it is cleaning that. Shit. Okay. Let me write it up there. Or let me copy this. Let me copy this. And let's take them to the top. Let me copy this to the next page and let's work on it. Sorry. I'm still back here. Right. With nothing, let's work on this screen. Okay. So let's take it again. I'm saying that the question says what? The network that we are having has what? Has 6 subnetworks. As I demonstrated right here, I showed us that this is the what? The net. So there are 6 networks in the what? Organization. Maybe one of the network is for the what? The administration. One is for the what? For the staffs. One is for the what? For the student. One is for the what? For the maybe lecturers. One is for the what? Maybe for the non-teaching staffs. Okay, in that particular what? Organization. So they have what? 6 what? Sub networks in the what? Organization or within the what? The network. Okay. So I'm saying that the formula for what? Subnet is what? 2 with the power what? N, which is equal to what? Subnet. Okay. The N represents the what? Number of what? Bits. Okay. Number of bits, that's what? We are going to what? Borrow. Okay. Number of bits borrowed. Okay. So we'll see how to borrow that particular bit. Okay. So the N is what? Number of bits, which is equal to the subnet. So this one says that what? We have what? 6 subnets, which means here becomes what? 2 to the power what? N equal to what? Equal to 6. Because they said this is the what? The subnet. Formula says it is what? 2 to the power N equals to what? The subnet. Okay. Then I'm saying that every time, make sure that what? 2 to the power N is what? Is more than the what? The subnet. It shouldn't be what? Equal to. If it becomes equal to, we can't get our what? Our network address and what? Our broadcast address. So always it should be what? It should be more than. Should be what? Should be more than this. Out of that, we can get what? Okay, let's say you've been given what? A question. That's what? Create what? Maybe 10 subnets from this particular network. Okay, 10 subnets, then meaning the bits that's what I'm going to borrow should be what? More than what? That's what? 10 network. Okay, and then they are in what? Degree of 2s. Okay, 2 to the power 1, the power what? 2, the power what? 3, the power 4. Okay, so let me just write it up to here. So we know that this gives us what? 2. This will give us what? 4. This will give us what? 8. This will give us what? 16. All right. So if they are telling us that's what? Okay. For this what? Our network, we have to create what? Maybe 6 sub networks. Okay. But the 6 sub networks, we can't go for what? We can't go for 4. 4 is what? Less than what? Even 6. we have to what? Go for the what? The 8. Out of the 8, we'll take what? Our 6. And then we will use what? 1 for the what? For the broadcast, 1 for the network. So meaning the 8 has been what? Has been exhausted. I hope we are following. So out of the 8, we get what? The one that we can use. And then those that what? We use for what? Our network and what? Our broadcast. I hope we are following. Are we on the same network?
Please kindly go over again.
Okay. I'm saying that.
Yeah,
okay. I'm saying that if you are being what? Asked or what? Being told to what? To what? Create what? A subnet, okay? From what? An IP address, okay? In that what particular what? A subnet or that particular network, we should make sure that what? The bit that's what we are going to borrow. I will explain the bit we're going to borrow. Should be what? Should be more than the what? The sub network what? Itself. Should be more than the what? The sub network what? Itself. Okay. So let's say we have what? They said we should create what? Maybe 6 networks. Okay. Out of this what? 6 networks. We need not to what? Get what? Anything less than what? The 6 networks. We should get what? Something more than. Okay. With a something more than, we can be able to get what? Our broadcast IP and then what? Our network what? IP. So let's say if you are being told to what? Create what? 6 sub networks. We can't say what? We will use what? Only what? 2. This is what? The bits we borrowed. Okay. When we borrow what? 1 bit, it gives us what? Only 2 networks. When we borrow 2, we get what? 4 networks. When we borrow what? 3, we get what? 8 networks. When we borrow what? 4, we get what? 16 networks. The borrowing that we are going to do is going to what? Depend on the what? On the host, okay? On the host. So meaning when we borrow, we say that what? Okay, I'm borrowing 1, 2, 3, and then 4. I'm borrowing what? Only 1, 2, and 3, which is what? 2 is the power what? 3, okay, gives me what? 8, okay, meaning when I borrow 3, I get what? 8 subnets. When I borrow what? 4, 16 subnets. When I borrow 2, 4 subnets. When I borrow 5, 32 subnet. I hope you're on the same track.
yes, sir.
Are we following?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So when I tell you to what? To create what? A subnet of 6, you can't tell me that what? You are creating the subnet with what? With maybe 4 networks. No, it is not even up to the what? The 6. So we should get something what? More than that. So the next one that we go to is what? Is 8. Okay. When we take this 8, okay, we can get what? Our 6. Okay. And out of this 8, we can still get what? Our broadcast and what? Our network, making them what? All 8. You see, now it is suitable. So when we are being told to what? Create what? A subnet of what? Of 10. Of 10 networks, okay? We don't have to go for 8. We have to go for what? 16. Because 16 or what? Will give us the what? So we get what? 10 subnets, and then 1 for what? Broadcast, and then what? 1 for what? Host. Meaning we've used what? 12 out of the what? The 16. The remaining ones are not plenty, so it is fine. We've what? We've controlled the what? The IP address. Okay. So let's look at how what we are going to be doing that in here. I think we'll get more understanding when we start. Okay. Let's start from here. Let me clean this. Sorry. Okay. So let's pay attention. Okay. So the required subnet is what? Is 6. Okay, is 6. And then we are told to what? Find out what the subnet what required. Okay, the subnet what required. So we said this is what? Subnet. That is S. Okay. Formula for subnet is what? 2 to the power what? N equal to what? subnet, okay? The N, sorry, subnet, that is X. The N we have here is what? A number of bits borrowed, okay? Borrowed from the host portion, okay? And then the what? The S is equal to the what? The subnet, okay? So that is that, okay? So let's see from here, okay? So they are saying that we should create what? 6 networks. The formula says it is what? 2 to the power n equal to what? S, that is the subnet. So you have what? 2 to the power what? N equal to what? Equal to the 6. That is the networks we are told to what? To create, okay? So how many bits do you think we can borrow from the what? From the host? Right now, the host is the what? Has what? 8 what? Bits, okay? It has what? See this? It has what? Total of what? 8 bits, okay? But we are told to what? To what? Create what? A subnet, okay, of 6. But we want to what? Find the what? The number of what? Of host what? We are going to number of bits we are going to what? Borrow to create the what? The 6. So let's say if we what? If we borrow 1 bit, let's borrow 1. So let's say 2 to the power what? 1. See this? Giving us what? 2 networks. That is what? Less than this. That is wrong. Let's borrow 2. Okay. 2 raised to the power what? 2 is equal to what? 4. Which is what? Less than the what? Less than the what? That's 6. That is wrong. Let's borrow 3. Let's see. 2 raised to the power what? 3 is equal to what? 8. Yes, this is what? Max. Okay. Meaning from the what? From the first, second, third, we can tell that this is what? Closer to what? To the 6. It is though what? More than what? You see, we can't take this. We can't take to the power 4. Okay. That is what? That is 16. Otherwise, we'll waste the what? The IP address. It is more than or far from what? From 6. But 8 is what? Is more than 6, but what? Closer to what? To 6. So out of this what? This bit, we can say that what? We can create what? Our 6 networks, and then we can use what? 1 for what? 1 for our broadcast, and then what? And then 1 for what? Our network, okay? Meaning we've used the what? The 8, and then it is up to. It is what? It is up to. So the question that's what they are asking us is that what is the what? The subnet what? Required, okay? So the subnet what? Required is what? Is 8. Is 8, okay? Meaning we use what? 8 what? 8 subnets, okay? Out of the 8, we got what? We got the what? The 6 out of the what? Out of the 8. Please, I hope we are on the same track.
So does it mean out of the 8, we will get 6 networks?
Yes, 6 networks and then 1 for what? Aha! Out of the what? Out of the 8, we'll get what? 6 what? Networks and then what? 1 network for what? For what's the name? For broadcast, and 1 network for the what? For network.
Sorry. You said the subnets we have is 6. It's already there.
Yes, it is 6. It's 6.
That's what we are using to solve the question.
Yeah, that's what we're using to solve the question.
So the 8 is the number of borrowed bits.
No, the 3. 3 is what this is it. The N, I said N is what? Number of what?
Okay.
Borrowed bits. Aha. So when we see,
so what is 8?
What is 8? You see, when we borrowed, we created what? 8 networks. When you borrow, you created what? A network. So you created what? 8 what? Network. Okay. So the 8 networks, we also need what? Only 6. Okay. And then from the 6, we can't get what? Exactly 6. Otherwise, we won't be able to what? To get what? Our broadcast network and what? Our what? Network address from that particular what? Network. Okay. So it is better we get what?
So meaning that the 8 is telling that have 8 networks within the subnet that and the 8 will have one network ID
address and then what? Yes.
So we would from the 8 and have 6 IP address.
Seems your network was breaking. Please, were you able to hear him? Maybe from my side, the network was breaking, but I don't know whether you guys heard him. But I think what he was saying, yes, he was right. Okay, he's trying to say that what? Out of this what? Yes.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that 2 exponent 3 will give us 8, meaning that we'll have 8 network within the subdivision that we do because it's subnets. So we are divided the networks. We have different networks. So with the different networks, we will have one network ID, one broadcast address. So it's the A minus. We'll have several network addresses.
Yeah, so that is what? Absolutely what? Right. Okay. So the networks what? We create them using the what? The bits. Okay. And then we see from here, we can't even get what? 6. Through the power what will give us 6? Nothing. Okay, so we take the one which is what? Which is more than the what? The network. And then what? Closer to the what? To the network as well. So that we can what? Subtract what? So let's so let's look at it. We are being told to create what? A subnet of what? Of 10. Okay. So you see with this subnet of 10, when we borrow what 3 bits, we'll get what 8 bits. It is not even up to the what? Up to the 10. So let's move on to the what? Borrow another one. Becoming 4. So we get what? 16. Okay. So out of this what? 16 subnetworks, we can pick only what? 10 for what? Our original network. After we pick the original network, we will still need what? 2. Okay. That is one for broadcast, one for what? Network. Okay, so it becomes what? 12. Okay, meaning we've even used, so that is why I told you that what? We must not get what? Anything equal to the what? The actual what? Network number. Otherwise, our network won't be what? Able to be what? To be formed. We should get what? Something more, because when we get more than, we will pick our what? Our network and what? Our broadcast from it. So meaning if this is 10, meaning we have what? +2. That is the network and the broadcast, making it what? 12. I hope it is clear. So meaning from here, if it is 12.
So sir, so to to begin with, you would have to have something in the range of the network required +2.
That is it.
Or more.
Absolutely. Okay, so with this one, when we have 16, right? Meaning we just what? Use 12 out of the 16, meaning see the remaining ones are not plenty. It's just 4. So it is okay. More or less like we using what? A normal class A address, which when we take only the 12 out of it, we're left with around what? 60 million. So you see how they've been able to what? To control the what? The size. Meaning the only wastage what? IP address are only 4. The only ones we are wasting are what? Are only 4. They are not even plenty, only 4 per. But if it was to be at first, like there was the class 4, meaning when we pick this 12, it will remain like what? 16 million or what? Maybe 250. And then what? We waste it. But right now, what? We've controlled it. Okay, so I hope it is, so we can continue.
Sir, please, before that, I also want to find out how were we able to know that subnet is equal to 6?
I'm saying the formula for subnet. Okay, yeah, I'm on the line. I told you guys the formula for subnet is this way. Through the power what? N is what? Equal to what? X. Okay, that is the formula for subnet. Okay, which means N is the what? Number of bits borrowed from the what? From the host portion, from this side. Okay, from the host portion. And then S is the what? Is the subnet that we are creating. At the moment what we borrow what? Bits from the what? From the host portion. We are creating what? A network. Okay, with the formula, when you borrow what? You borrow bits from the host portion, you are creating what? A new network. Lisa, I hope it is clear. So from we creating the new network, they told us that what? We should create what? 6 networks. Okay, that's what they told us. So meaning we should get what?
Yeah, that's what I want to find out. Where the question say we should create 6 networks?
Yes. Hey, you said what?
Where did the question say
oh,
6 networks?
it was here, right here. Okay, but I didn't finish writing it. It says what? The required number of subnets was 6. This one. Right? It is right here. Okay, right here 6. Okay, it was in the question. Okay. Sorry, I didn't write with the blue ink. Okay, that was the reason why. So we can move on, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the first question has been solved. So meaning we need what? 8 what? Subnets, okay? To what? To get what? 6 subnets. Meaning we need what? 8 to get what? 6 subnets. So that is 8 for that question. Okay, let's move on to the question 2. So let me clean this. Let's move on to the question. This one is more time. Can I just start cleaning?
You already know the question.
Yes, yes. So question 3, right? Let me clean from here. Okay, so let's take the next question. Okay, the next question says what? Determine the number of what? Of bits borrowed. So we can tell us the number of bits we borrowed to create the what? The subnet.
3.
Absolutely. Okay, because this was what? 3 to the power what? 3 give us what? 8. Okay. So the number of bits borrowed was what? It's only 3. So the answer for this side is what? It's only 3. You see, subnetting is not difficult to. Okay. So Christopher says, please, why have you cancelled the 4 zeros of the host when it's 2 exponent 3? Oh, no. I use it to explain this system. Okay, this. We just assumed we were borrowing like 4. Okay. So Christy, we were just doing an assumption, like we were just borrowing, and then seeing what the number of networks we can create. Okay, that was the reason why I did that. Okay, so it is 3, not 4. Okay, because of this side, that was the reason why. Okay, so out of this, we borrowed what? 3 bits. So here becomes what? Only what? 3 bits what? Borrowed. And then that question 2 is what? Also what? Done. Okay, so let's take the next question. The next question is determine the number of what? Hosts per what? Per subnet. So how many hosts per subnet do you think will be remaining? Okay, so let me write the host again. 0, 0, 0, 0. And then we have 0, we have 0, we have 0 right here. This is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Left with 1. Okay. And then what? We've borrowed what? 3. Okay. So when we borrowed this what? This one, how many you think is now remaining? Okay, how 5. So the host formula, okay, the host formula still comes here. Okay, the host formula says it is what? 2 to the power what? Host minus what? Minus 2. So it becomes what? 2 to the power what? 5 minus what? Minus 2, which we are getting what? 30. Okay, 30 from here. So this 30 means that out of what? Each of the what? Of the 6 networks, one network will contain only what? 30 people. Second one will contain what? 30 people. Okay. So meaning one network contains what? Only 30 people. Another one, 30 people. Please, where is the 5 from? Christy, we were saying that we had what? Only 8 bits remaining for the what? For the host. Okay. This is the 8 bits for the what? For the host. And then we remember that we borrowed only what? 3 from the host, okay, to create the what? The subnet, okay, to create this. So meaning that 3, they're not part. So meaning right now the host is what? It's remained with what? With only 5. Chrissy, please, I hope we are on the same line.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that is the reason why we have. So it says that's what? Determine the number of what? Of hosts per what? Per subnet, okay. So the formula is what? 2 to the power 8. So this is what? number of bits of host was remaining. The number of bits on the host, okay, remaining, okay, and they were 5. So 2 to the power 5 minus 2, which is equal to what? 30. Meaning from what? From our 6 networks, each of them we have what? 30 people on the what? On the network, okay. But if they tell you that what is the what total number of what of host, okay, on the network, we can't say 30, okay. We just say that what 2 to the power what h is equal to what the host. So I mean this becomes what 2 to the power 5, which is equal to what 32. Okay, this is the what
Yes.
the total number of what of hosts on the what on each network. But if they say what find for the what assignable host or find for the what usable host, that becomes the what the 30, because with this what total host we subtract the what we subtract the broadcast IP address and we subtract the what the network IP address. That is what makes it what total what host, overall host. But the one that we can use is this. When we take off that what particular tool, these ones are the ones that we can use. I hope we are all on the same page.
Yes, sir.
So some of them can just decide to ask you, what is the what number of hosts on the what on the network? If you write 30, you are wrong, because 30 is the one that we can use. But that 32 is the what the number of hosts on the what on the network. But if it can ask you that what is the what the assignable what host on the network, the 30 is the 30 there is what is correct for that question. Or we can say what is the what the usable host on the what on the network. 30 is what is correct. But when it says that what the overall what host or the what total host or what number of hosts on the network, we can't say 30 because we'll be wrong. Okay, so please let's move on. So that is why here is what is 30. Okay. So even with this, you see here our answer was wrong. So here is supposed to be what? To be 32. Okay, 32. So when they say what the assignable, so that is where what our answer comes in. So here it says the number of what host per what per subnet. Okay, so that is what 32. Okay, but the usable or what assignable one becomes what 30. Okay, so they can give you what a follow-up question. That's what is the what the usable or what assignable what host in that particular what network. That is the 30. But the what number of hosts per subnet is what is 32, not 30. Okay, so let me clean and then let's move on to the next question. Okay. Yeah, so please, I'll leave my contact. Okay, so the class rep should what message me and then I'll send it to him. Okay, and then he will give it to you guys. Okay, so don't worry. After that, I'll leave my contact for the class rep to just what get it for you guys. Okay, so please let's continue. So we are on the what on the next question. It said what calculate for the what for the new what subnet max. Okay, so let us remember that what right now our subnet max will change. Okay, because we borrowed what 3 new what hosts. Okay, so it will change. So let me write it right here. That is what is the what the 8 bits. Okay, 8 bits. Okay, this is what 8 bits. Okay, and then we borrowed what 3 from here. So let's say here is 3. Let me put what this one here, and then what remaining what 5. Okay, so these ones are what are for the network. Okay, then this is what is for the what is for the host portion. Okay, so right now our subnet max will change. So see this here, they are all what 8 ones, which is what the same thing. Correct here, correct here, correct. But here we need to what calculate. Okay, so we must what we must calculate what for this. So let's calculate for that. So let's put what 255 here. Let's put for 255 here. 255 here. And then the last one is what? Calculations. Okay. So let's write the bit right there. Okay. And let's calculate. Okay. So okay. So from our question, like that we had what? Our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, right here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from here. And then we had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from here. And then we had what? We borrowed what? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so meaning here becomes 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 for the host. Okay, for the host. So right now we are told to calculate for the new what? Subnet max. So here was what? 255. That is correct. So let's calculate for this. 255. That is correct. Let's see this. 255. That is correct. But here changes. So let's calculate the what? This one's in what? In binary, in decimal. Let's convert it.
Go to the corner now.
Let's convert what? Let's convert this to what? To decimal. Okay, so this is how it is being done. Okay, so let's take it. We always know that what? When we have what? 8 bits, this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Okay, from here. Always in binary or in bits. We know that this is what? 2 to the power 0. 2 to the power what? 1. 2 to the power what? 2. And then this is what? 2 to the power 3. 4 right here. 5 right here. 6 right here. And then what? And then 7 right what? Right here. Okay. 7 what? Okay. So Benedict, I think your answer is correct. Okay. So let's see. So 3 to the power 0 is what? Is 1. All right. This is what? 3 to the power 1 is what? Is 2. Okay. 3 to the power 2 is what? Is 4. 3 to the power 3 is what? Is 8. 3 to the power 4 is what? Is 16. 3 to the power 5 is what? Is 32. 3 to the power 6 is what? Is 64. 3 to the power 7 is what? Is 1 what? 28. Okay. So out of this 128, we have to calculate for what? For this. Okay. So let's see. The one that I will turn on. Let's turn them on. 1, 2, 3. And the rest are what? Are 0. Okay. 0 right here. So let's add the what? The one that are on. So 128 plus 64 plus 32. So what is the answer?
224.
224. Okay, so here becomes what? 224. Now we can say that's what? This is what? Our new what? Subnet max. Okay, this is what? Our new subnet max for what? Our what? IP what? Address. Okay, new subnet max for what? Our IP address. And then what new question? Last question did we have right there? Let me have a look at the question. It says what? Calculate the what? New subnet max of the what? IP address. And the what? And the prefix. And the prefix. Okay. So right now, you see, after we finished, we realized that's what? We borrowed what? 3 bits. Okay. So it becomes the prefix. So let's count. 8, 16, 24, plus the what? New what? Additional borrowed bits. Making it what? 27. Okay. Making it what? 27. So meaning when I say what is the prefix of the what? Of the network, it is what? CIDR what? 27. Before it was what? CIDR what? 24. But after what? After borrowing and doing everything, it changed to become what? CIDR what? 27. So that is the what? The prefix. The prefix of the what? Of the subnet. Of the what? Of the network. Of the IP address. Okay. That is the prefix. Okay. So we are being told to find for the what? For the IP range. Okay. The IP range. So let me clean this. Let me write the IP address once again. And let's take the what? The ranges from there. Okay. ranges from there. So the IP address was
For more information and also to reach us, please contact the numbers on the screen. You can also reach us through our social media handles displayed on the screen. Please do like, follow, and subscribe to our social media handles. A+ Softek IT Consult. Innovative solutions with the difference.